Hello, everybody. Welcome to the KISS podcast.
Keep it simple, sister.
Hey, Diana.
Hi, Samantha. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
I love it. That's perfect for you.
It works. It's that
Yes.
Southern in me. Bam. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Oh, my goodness. I don't know that I can
No,
hear.
yours doesn't sound like that. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
Yeah.
Yours
No.
sounds good.
Thank you. That's my mama.
Okay.
Yeah. Very Southern. Well, everybody, welcome to the KISS podcast. This is where we share the tips, tricks, techniques, and the products that Diana and I have accumulated, learned through brute force, and out of the need to rise above from the ashes and have integrated into our lives to make us these inspiring, women full of wisdom. And so I love doing this because Diana never knows what's going to come out of my
That
mouth.
was that was fabulous. I love that.
I never know what's going to come out of my mouth, but it's all true. It's
It
true.
is. It is true. It is true.
Yes, we have gone through a lot for all of this. And so we love sharing all of this information with y'all so that you can not only just get a grasp of the concepts we're talking about that'll hopefully uplift your life, but that you also find a way to integrate them into your life so that you get even more out of everything that we're sharing.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So do you want me to start with the flip side?
Yes.
Okay. So we're not going to have a flip side, but if we were,
Psych.
we usually start with the flip side where both of us have something from our life that was a little troublesome, provided some contrast, made us feel ick, did a little bit of ick.
Mhm.
And then how we tried to see something positive or get something positive out of that experience. But we have a special guest today. So we are not going to take up any more time with the flip side. Um, so Samantha's going to explain what's going down, but I'm very excited about it.
So on the positive path today, we're calling it the world is going crazy, a chat with BeBe.
Love it.
So we've said we were going to do this several times, just amongst Diana and myself. We haven't really shared this with y'all that we would do this, but we're going to do a channeling.
Yes.
And so we're going to channel with this group of multidimensional beings that I was introduced to right after I met Diana. Who knows? I probably have known them for a lot longer, but didn't realize it. Um, and they are, I'll explain who they are because this is, it gets kind of just go with the flow. If you're not into this, folks, just, take what resonates with you, let the rest go. So this is a group of multidimensional beings. There are five. There are three archangels. There's Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, and Archangel Raphael. And Michael kind of holds the space for me, increases the frequency and so forth. Raphael is all about healing. Anybody who's in the Catholic Church knows that, you go to him if you have a like prayer for healing or whatever. Actually, there's all those saints too that you probably go to for, yeah. Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
just in general, he's the top dog for that. And then there's Metatron, who did walk the earth as a human at one point, and he's all about transformation, assisting humans in transformation, and not just over a length of time, but more rapid transformation, calling on him to help you gain awareness and so forth. So they work in concert with two galactic beings. One is a Syrian male, and he's there holding that energy. And there's something else I learned about him recently that made him a lot more present. And I'm not remembering it right in this moment, but I was like, oh, that makes sense why he's involved. But the Syrians are very involved with the Pleiadians and the Lyrans. Sorry, I know some of this might be Greek to y'all, but he's there to um help with the human experience as well, to help deliver the message. So he's kind of again holding that space, but on a different level. But there was something else, and I cannot recall. The main projection of the information comes through from a Pleiadian female whose name, well, I don't know what her actual name is, but when I asked who they were, she said, we're benevolent beings. And I was like, well, I can't go around calling you benevolent beings. I said, hoping that I wasn't sounding, like rude to say this, but I said, would it be okay if I called you BeBe? And they were totally in agreement with that. And I double checked that with a couple of people just to make sure that it wasn't just me feeling that that was okay. They're totally cool with it. So, and it's nice because I'm hearing her feminine voice coming through. So referring to BeBe kind of helps a lot. So she can be very strong in her way of coming across. Like I say she's kind of a hard ass because she'll hold your feet to the fire kind of thing. But she's
I totally appreciate.
yeah.
I love a hard ass woman. Go ahead.
Well,
I
I mean,
get
it's kind of like you called me in. We're not messing around. Let's go with this.
right.
Um, but she can be soft spoken as well. I haven't connected with them for a while, so we have no idea how this is going to play out. But we thought the world's going crazy. Everyone's going, what the hell's going on? And so we thought this would be a good opportunity to check in with people who have a different perspective of what's going on here on Earth, and see what guidance they can give us, what maybe they can illuminate some of the information. Um, so far to date, their main focus has been on healing. So it's been on, like, what are you doing in your life where you need to heal? So it's probably going to come from that higher perspective. So I don't know in what all areas they'll cover or how we just got to go with the flow.
Uh-huh.
I say
Uh-huh.
roll with the flow,
Roll with it.
roll
Go
with
with the flow.
it. So anyway, we will just give it a go. And Diana has all the questions and she's going to be in control.
And this is the first time that I've been the question. I've been involved with channeling before, but I have not been the one that asked the questions or kind of guided the conversation. So
So
I'm
be
very
ready,
excited about it.
BB. So the process is that I'm going to get quiet, and I'm doing conscious channeling, which means I hear everything coming through. And sometimes I'm surprised by what comes through. Like, I just, whoa, so I'm hearing it too, but I step back. So I'd love to do it at some point where I'm not aware. So, it just, I don't know why I think that's more authentic. That's silly.
You do
But
it
anyway,
how it
I'm gonna
works for
step
you.
back and let, huh?
You have to do what works for you. So
True. True.
you are authentic. You are you.
And I really do want to hear the message myself. I think they know
Uh-huh.
that. So anyway, without further ado, this might take a few minutes. And so if you guys notice, I'm just gonna say this ahead of time. If you guys notice a skip in the recording, it might be that it took a few minutes longer for them to come in. And so we decided to jump it ahead, but more than likely we won't need to do that. All right. It's exciting. We're just making a few adjustments. We are asking Samantha to relax her body, release, allow us more presence within her body. Good afternoon, Diana.
Hello, BeBe. It is so nice to talk to you again. Thank you for joining us. Samantha and I were talking about how it feels like the world is going crazy. And so we have some questions for you, and hopefully you can provide us with some guidance.
We would enjoy the opportunity to share with you from our higher perspective how we perceive what it is that you are experiencing in this three-dimensional physical existence. One moment. From our perspective, it is extremely interesting to see the physicality of the planet Earth, to see the construct of it, it is so, we are trying to find the right words to describe how we perceive it. It is so, it has such permanence, such intensity of beingness. It is a profound object within your solar system. It has been made extremely dense for the practicality of what you all come here to experience. There's not a way for us to express how we perceive it in totality within our minds, but to say that it is, we feel that you see it as a rock that you live on, as this marble in the sky. And to us, it is this living, expressive creation that is both inhaling and exhaling, and is thinking, considering, contemplating, swirling, expressing. It is not just a living thing from that which populates it, but from deep within to completely without in its energetic space and its energetic beingness. So you may see yourself as confined to this earthly space. And we would say this is a good thing because of the level of intensity and contrast that occurs within the dimensions of the third density. We would want that as more tranquil beings, for all of that activity to be confined. We do not mean this with disrespect. We know that times are very challenging. We know that there is an unease that permeates through all. The earth is adjusting herself. The earth is making herself anew. She is going through a bit of a metamorphosis. And in these shifts of her environment, along with the agreement of all of the souls who are in physical existence at this time, she is shifting off some of the old that has been a part of her for quite some time and stepping into a new higher vibration. And through this process, you as a living being, the same as all of the animals, the creatures that exist, are feeling this shift. You do not understand what it is, where it is coming from. Some of it may come across as feeling violent in the sense of volcanoes or sinkholes or earthquakes or changing weather systems, but it is all meant for the adjustment of Earth on which you live. She needs to cleanse herself. And if you are to remain in physical existence during this time, then you must. It is not that you must. You would benefit from finding ways to become at ease with the process, to acknowledge and to encourage her shifting, because it is bringing you all into a new space that you have all heard about for so long and desired. And so it is. What questions have you brought us?
You just answered one of them. I was gonna ask why we were, excuse me, experiencing all the natural disasters, which is the way we look at it. But you just gave a different explanation for that. So it's the earth. The other question is, why are we experiencing the many wars in different areas on earth?
One moment, please. Just as the earth is doing her shifting, her metamorphosizing, so too must the artifacts of the human condition, the structure of the human condition. There are compromises, agreements, there are perceptions, there are conclusions, there are so many thought forms that have been put into place amongst all humans on a micro scale, meaning within themselves, within the environment around them, their family, their familial relationships. And there is also the macro, which extends more into the tribes, the objects that you see as being the countries, the these thought forms become things, they become living, breathing constructs. And so you would say the United States, it is not just a thought, it's also a belief in a way of living life, the ideal of being free, of being able to expand one's life, surroundings, thoughts, experiences. And in some places, there are firmer constructs of the belief of what this entity that is the thought form which collects you together as a group. So we would move our focus to places such as the Middle East, such as Asia, and Africa, these places that are what you perceive to be the cradle of civilization. And yet there have been many epic periods of civilization, but these would directly be affecting you at this time. These are areas where humans have lived for many, many many years and have thus created more thought forms of these collective ideas, the way things should be thought of or perceived as. You may say these are rules, these are religions, these are the do's and don'ts, the ethical moralities of life. It was easier to, during these warring times, many centuries ago, to break apart these belief systems because it occurred more often. They were more malleable. But as time has gone by and warring has, in our perception, has slowed to a degree, the thought forms, the beliefs that have been fed into them have grown stronger. Do you understand what we mean when we say thought forms?
No, no, I'm kind of confused.
And so someone came to the United States and said, amongst a group of other people, I feel freer here. We should stand up for liberty. We should stand up for justice. We have left systems in which we were, our lives were upended. We were controlled. We were told what we could or could not think. And so in this new space, this new vibration that was wide open, known as the Americas, it was known by many other names prior to that. But to your understanding, it would be the Americas. A belief began to ferment of liberty, justice for all, equality as it was known at that time. And so as individuals talked and their emotions got involved, they were sending up a manifestation of this beingness, this ideal. Think of it as creating a God in a sense. It is not a real thing. It is simply given life. It is breathed into by everyone's belief. If everyone suddenly were to say, we no longer believe in liberty, we no longer begin to believe in equality, then this thought form would begin to be fragile and begin to suffer and begin to collapse. And so it is. That is what you were witnessing within these Americas. Are you familiar with this?
Yes. I guess the question that I have is, and we are not familiar personally familiar with war or warring in the United States now. So the where these wars are occurring around the world are,
We are getting to your question.
pardon me?
We are getting to your question.
Okay.
We are not complete in the transmission. That is not a reprimand.
Okay.
It is simply to say that we have more to say.
Okay.
We were simply giving you an example of the thought form that has been
That makes
created. So you recognize this thought form that has become the Americas, the United States of
yes,
America, and you have seen how it was once so strong in its ideal and beliefs and now is fracturing.
I understand.
So now we take the same concept of this thought form, this creation, and we move it to places such as the Middle East, where there have been centuries of a particular form of belief. It is not the mere 200 plus years of the United States. It is a vast array of time going back further than what you even know to be. And so these beliefs have been fed into the thought form that has created these individual states in which the collective of people live. And as the earth is shifting, becoming anew, going through her metamorphosis, and needing to break free, adjust, heal those areas in herself that need to be healed, so do all of these thought forms. Therefore, there is much agitation. There's a heightened state with this anxiety of what the earth is doing, which is creating it is feeding into the frenzy. It is causing a destabilization of beliefs that no longer serve, these thought forms that no longer serve the direction, the vibration in which the earth is shifting anew. And so think of holding, not that we would ever ask you to do it, but think of holding a beehive in your hands and shaking it up. That is much what the earth is doing to all of its inhabitants. Everything is feeling the strain and the stress. There is a feeling of lack, of needing to hold one's ground, of survival of self. There is much divisiveness and disparity. And therefore, all of that is going into these areas that have been very concrete in the thought forms. The thought forms must be broken apart. The way in which this happens is not palatable to the human experience. And yet, from those of us observing it outside of the human experience, we see it as a necessary cleansing. And while we would not want it to occur the way it is occurring, we also understand the emotionality of the human experience, the fear, the belief in righteousness. And so we know that this is inevitably going to occur. Does this get to your question?
Yes. And it makes a lot of sense. And it leads into my next question is about the effect of all of this on this generation, particularly like my children, Samantha's children, they're all feeling this sense of anxiety because of the chaos. What can we do, or how can we support them and support ourselves through this upheaval?
They are already done with it. They are seeing adults as acting like toddlers. They are disappointed, disillusioned. They have come into this world for the future experience, but they would not be able to experience, they would not be able to appreciate this future experience if they didn't go through the actual shifting that is occurring among all of these warring factions and disillusioned humans and craziness and confusion that you all are experiencing. If they were to, if the world was to be washed clean, washed anew, and moved into a higher vibration, and then humans were to populate, they would miss the point of the experience of elevation, of elevating, of their hard work that they've put into to grow and mature and find balance. We understand that you do not necessarily feel this balance. You may not agree with what we are saying, but as a whole, the humans are moving into this space where the heart is the seat of the mind. In order to keep this balance, these we are trying to find the right word. One moment. It is not placeholder. It is not those willing to go through this shifting aspect of the earth to actually experience it. It is important because they are witnesses. They will be able to pass on to future generations of what once was and now what will be. And so they knew coming in that this is what they would be doing. This would be their unique task, to be ready for the new earth and yet to have to be there to bridge the gap. However, it is one thing to know this and agree to come into this space as a soul, and then to actually come into this space with lack of all of that understanding and to withstand the absolute insanity that they have opened their eyes to. It will take them some time yet to find their balance, to make their mark. So what they see, what they are feeling, the human animal, of course, would feel. It is only natural. So you are asking how they can bear with what they are witnessing. Is that
Yes.
it?
Yes.
One moment, please. We are seeing more the dynamics of, or discussing more of the dynamics that are occurring in the United States. There are other parts of the world in which these beings have come through this generation, and they have a bit more balance, and they are sort of between those individuals and the individuals of your generation. They are holding the light. They are holding the candle at the end of the tunnel. One moment, please. There may be losses along the way. There may be times when these individuals from these last two generations can no longer make sense of what is occurring around them because they were not built for this world. They are built for the new earth. And so they may choose to opt, as Samantha says, out. And that is okay. And that is good and right that they do what resonates with them. But for the rest that remain, they are here having their personal experiences as much as they are biding their time waiting for this shift to occur. Some feel a calling and they know that they're ready to do something, but they don't know exactly what it is. And then much anxiety can come from that. It is mainly to it is in part what COVID was attempting to do. It is to cause one to go within oneself, to hold one's counsel, to understand that there is peace within. And once one comes to terms with the peace within, which also means one must heal oneself so that there is peace within, that then one can radiate peace without. And that becomes a daisy chain effect, and it calms and soothes those around them, it continues to spread out, and it eases the transition for the earth, almost as in a birthing process. We would say to you that teaching them to be mindful, teaching them to catch their breath, self-soothe, to go with the flow, to understand that there are greater things happening. They have the ability, they have more. It is not so much more, it is that they have less constructs that should prevent them from reaching out to their guides, to their higher self, to be able to make sense of what is going on around them. Therefore, it would be most beneficial to teach them how to do these things, even though much of it may seem foreign. It will become more and more natural as we go through this process. Does this make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. And for ourselves, the same, you're suggesting the same thing, the self-healing, the mindfulness, the
It is the only way to go. It is the path forward. To hold that energy of self-hate, self-doubt, distrust of oneself, it will only, let us give you this example. Say you are tethered to a boulder that is underwater, and as such right now, we're sorry that this is a ghastly example. Samantha is shocked. But you are tethered to this boulder, and you have your mouth, your chin just above the water. This is you being chained to these negative self limitations of belief, holding yourself attached to the pain. And therefore, as the earth's energy rises anew, as it refreshes itself, these, what we would call the waters, which is the vibrations, they are rising. At some point, you will find that you are no longer even able to gasp for oxygen. You are now underneath, and your vision is even more obscured. This is not what we would wish for you, but many on this planet will remain in this state. And we would think that the vision we have given you would prompt you to say, I would prefer to heal and release from this rock, release from these chains, and be able to float among the surface and embrace whatever changes come through. Does this make sense?
yes, it does. And I see why Samantha was shocked. I think one of the things that most people fear is drowning. And what you're talking about is drowning because you don't let go of the negativity in your life. Is that
That
an
is
accurate way?
correct. It is quite the thing to see a human hold so fervently to these constructs that weigh them down, that elicit so much pain within, that wound them to such a degree, when they could instead look at these moments of growth and embrace them for the beauty that these changes have wrought. It is a thing to see someone heal, to see the light emanate from their bodies, to see the wings spreading from themselves as if they could take flight. Everything becomes possible life becomes exciting. It becomes a joy. It is a whole new experience that we would encourage all to work towards.
And I guess my question is, people like Samantha, light workers, people that are trying to bring the light, um, I guess more people need to let that light in and be guided. Is that what you're saying?
It is an interesting way to put it that you all perceive light and light workers, and we understand the need to label, to have a common way of referencing what you are doing, what these light bringers are doing. It is actually to release from the negativity that is within and around them and to elevate incrementally their own vibration. And as they do that, they are more in alignment with the earth's ever evolving elevation of vibration and frequency. And so each of these individuals, as they release, as they elevate, this creates a frequency around them that causes others who are just beginning to emerge, much like turtles from a shell. Is it safe outside? Is it okay for me to be me? Is it okay to smile once again? Is it okay to express myself? And those holding those beacons of light, or rather the frequency that matches where these individuals are beginning to emerge, they will feel resonance. They will feel that upliftment. They, much like moths to a flame, they will begin to circle and they will take in teachings and understandings, and they will remember a little bit more of who they truly are, the magnificence of the human being. And they will then, as we have said, the daisy chain effect, it will spread among others. So it is not as much of a light as it truly is holding a frequency of a particular vibration that elevates all. Does this answer your question?
Yes, that makes sense. And then the last thing I wanted to ask you about is that some people are referring to the craziness as the apocalypse, the end of time in the Bible. Um, but what you're saying is, my question on here was, is any of this accurate or just the perception of some people?
It is the perception. It is an accurate perception in many respects. But understand, as these individuals perceived, individuals such as Nostradamus and others, as they have perceived these concepts occurring, they could only put it within their time frame, what was around them.
Uh-huh.
To be accurate, there were a few that could perceive, could see in actuality more of the physical, say, if they were prognosticating about automobiles, they were able to see them in full detail. But again, they would have to then bring it back to their surrounding and how they could use the terminology that was available to them to describe so that others would understand. These are very few individuals, but for the most part, everyone else who has prognosticated on this concept of this shift, what they were feeling, how they were interpreting it, could only be based upon that which was in their current reality. Therefore, locusts, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And some of these things that are discussed, they are put within terms that those humans could understand at that time. Therefore, if we were to give an example, we might be able to translate, but Samantha is unfamiliar with many of these apocalyptic features. However, just to say what might be perceived as perhaps she is referring to hellfire and brimstone. It might be volcanic eruptions. It
Okay.
might be meteor spraying some debris.
Okay.
And that is all they would be able to perceive and not maybe greater concepts.
I understand. So the end of their, if they're saying it's the end of times, it's the end of the times that they recognize.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes sense. Um, you've given us so much great information. There was one other question that I wanted to ask about the two presidential candidates that we have in the United States, and nobody wants either one of them, but I'm kind of feeling like that's the downfall of that thought construct that you were talking about.
The thought
The
form construct. Yes. It is very brittle. It is breaking apart. And therefore, as you see, there are individuals that are fervently holding on to some form of the thought form belief, be it a Democratic Party or a Republican Party. We will just look at those two as an example. The reason there's so much divisiveness is they are holding as fervently as they can, as it is literally crumbling between their fingers. And yet, as there is nothing else there to grab onto, they continue to try to hold these thought forms aloft for fear of the nothingness that will be there, the unknowingness. It is more comfortable to be with that even if it brings you pain, it is the known rather than that which you do not know, as you tend to project things in the future as scary and thus fearful instead of bright and beautiful. Does this answer your question or
Yes, yes, it does. So there can't be Democrats or Republicans because there has to be something else, but they don't know what that thing is, and that's what's causing the discomfort.
much of it? The anxiety, the anger, it it appears to be madness because they are arguing for one candidate or the other that they no longer even believe in, that they would not call family, that they would not invite into their homes. And they say things as if they are okay, they are accepting of their dispositions, even when they know that they would not accept that of anyone else in their presence. That is part of that holding on to the madness of the thought form for fear.
I understand. Is it is it something that we have any impact on, Samantha and myself, or our families, or people that are close to us? Is it something that we can help move forward?
It is to be within one's own counsel,
Okay.
to not be pressing upon others how they should feel or believe, because then you poke the bear, you prod them into further hardening their point of view. Therefore, when someone is holding on to these thought forms that are crumbling, it is best to sit back and hold your own counsel. It will come to pass. There will be a time, but it is for you to hold your own counsel, is what we would advise.
Okay, I understand. Um, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you think that we may need to know? You've answered all of our questions, I believe.
We would say in parting that you human creatures are so so beautiful, so lovely to behold, so magnificent, so complex. Your emotions, the craftiness of your minds, the cleverness of your wit and words, the way in which you can take heartache and bring life to it and create something anew, greater, better, more beautiful. If you could see it from our perspective, if you could see the magnificence of your beingness, of what you will bring to all of us within this experience beyond the human physical experience. It is a joy to witness. It is a birthing of something new and greater for all. And we would leave you with our warmth and love and gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you.
How did that go?
That was fantastic. It was so good.
I was horrified. They were going to show something else that they'd collected from my experience. And I was like, no, 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 no. They were seeing originally how they were trying to make it very visceral of like how like boys, I think my brother did this and I saw this, like I have a memory of this, and that's where they were pulling it from, where he tied a string to the leg of a frog and had it where it was just enough where it could barely breathe. And they would like, anyway. And
Oh,
I think that's where that was coming from. And I was like, no, 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 no. Like, oh my God, I can't. If they had,
don't do that. Don't do that.
oh, that felt so good. It's been so long since oh my God.
We need to do that more often.
That was really cool.
It really was. I hope that our watchers, listeners, or whatever get the feeling of how special that is. It was so cool.
And what they said at the ending. Okay, so we're going to go into our sponsorship. I knew that we were going to do it this way at the beginning, and I knew I'd be going from this very kind of space into this, but we're doing it because this is fun. Ready?
Okay.
Ready to
Yeah.
get silly? Okay.
And now a word from our sponsors, us.
Okay, you guys, today, I first want to say we can't keep bringing you these uplifting, insightful tips, tricks, and techniques on how to navigate your way
And magic.
a healthier magic to a healthier, happier life without the help from our sponsors.
Us.
Um, it's just so like the joy that's going through my body because I'm getting to be like this human thing, and I saw it from there. Oh my God. Anyway,
So cool.
so today we're talking about what, Diana?
We are talking about the Lab Livcana Full Spectrum Hemp Oil MCT CBD Snaps.
Which we refer to as
Snaps.
yes.
CBD Snaps.
How'd you have your snap today? Okay, so this is the ultimate stress buster. Unleash the power of CBD to quell the chaos of your mind and escort stress to the exit door. It's your go-to ally for those moments when you need to transform tension into tranquility and reclaim your zen. It's also a pain alleviation virtuoso. Say goodbye to the grimace of pain and hello to the harmony of relief with CBD's soothing symphony. Whether it's stubborn aches or fleeting pains, CBD offers a natural key to unlocking a more comfortable, vibrant life. Additionally, serenade to sleep. Bid farewell to the endless counting of nocturnal livestock. Nocturnal livestock?
Yes, like
Oh,
sheep. Get it?
Oh, yeah. And embark on a velvety voyage to the realm of rest with CBD. Discover the secret lullaby that can turn your nights into a cradle of rejuvenation and mornings into a dawn of vitality. And we got one more because this is Jeeves, and Jeeves is long-winded. He helped us write this. Radiance reimagined. Illuminate your essence from within with the luminescent touch of CBD. Celebrate your skin's health as CBD's anti-inflammatory prowess polishes your appearance to a dazzling brilliance, unveiling a glow that's not just seen, but it's felt. How do you like your CBD? What is
I love the CBD snaps. I don't take them all the time, but when I do, I do. And the funny thing is when Jeeves was talking about the glow, so many people have said to me because they've seen my reels or if you don't follow me on Facebook, you should because I'm funny and I do some things and you see some things and whatever. But they keep talking about how I have this glow about me and I'm like okay, how pretty I am, how beautiful I am. And looking at your face right now, like our skin is nice,
Mhm.
really good. And I believe that it comes from the CBD snap. I mean, also the
Well, it's all
moringa.
of it. Yeah.
It's the all of it. But the thing that I love is that it's portable. It's called a snap because this is what you do to it. I don't know if you guys can see this, but you snap it and then you
This is a twofer for
suck
you
it
today.
into your this is my second one, so who knows what's gonna happen next, but I probably won't go to sleep. But it tastes like mint and it's I didn't I was afraid of CBD because Nancy Reagan said just say no to drugs. And that's all I could think about when I first heard about the CBD product for lab. But everything Jeeves just said is true. And there's no, it's Nancy would be okay with it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so. Well, and what's nice is it gives you this, it takes about 15 minutes, no lie,
Good to
about,
the last drop. Do you see me sucking every drop out of it?
but it's seriously 15 minutes and you just all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, like there's a shift. You just feel, okay, I can handle this now. So I have a little bit of restless leg before I go to bed at night, and I've been taking it before I go to sleep. And I try not to because I like my dreams to be super active, but sometimes I just cannot get to sleep.
Yeah.
And if I take a snap, I mean, it's like my head hits the pillow, I make a few adjustments, my mind just, boom, and I go to sleep. It's
Well,
just,
and I find when I do it throughout the day, it helps me with my focus and my concentration too. And a
mm,
lot of that comes from, you're anxious and you're worried about this and this and this and this and that. It just chills you out and you can focus on what you need to get done.
yeah, this is so much fun doing this because I've literally gone from this incredible, like woo woo, higher loving space. And it's all just my head is like blown right now. Like,
I
and I'm
love
doing
it.
this very practical, normal. It's like having this out of body. Well, I had an out of body experience and now
You
I'm just
did,
trying
yes.
to do the practical.
Bring
Um,
yourself back in. And we did it really quickly. So that was kind of
yes.
funny.
So if we were to say a weekly wanderlust, we would say that, you know, listen to this. And if there's questions that come from it, put it in the group. Or if you guys really enjoyed this and want us to do this again sometime, put it in the group.
Right.
Um,
And we just went with the things that were concerning us right now, or just, come fresh in our minds because of conversations with our kids and stuff.
yep.
But if you would like to see it again, you can help us drive the question line, the storyline, and get some answers from someplace else. I
From a higher perspective
yes,
for sure.
exactly.
So should I share what I came up with for the sweary affirmation?
I think so. I
Okay,
believe so.
you guys, this is,
This is the spicy affirmation, right?
yes, these spicy affirmations. I need to change that on my thing. Spicy
Spicy.
affirmations. And I could not get this out of my head. And it's kind of funny because that's actually what I had to do. Like it came into my head and I said, Diana, this is it. This is the one we got to do. I can't get it out of my head. And then it took so long for something to occur that I took a break and I kind of walked around. But anyway, it's just unfuck yourself and go for a walk.
Just unfuck yourself and go for a walk.
I think it's like, just get out of your head.
Yeah, exactly.
Just stop all of the
Quiet the
monkey chatter.
noise and go for a walk.
And what's your favorite thing to listen to when you go on a walk? When you're
Um,
not doing all your reels.
well, and a lot of times I like to check out our podcast because it is really good. But Taylor Swift's my girl.
Really?
So a lot of times I like to listen to Taylor Swift music and just
Hmm.
soak up nature. That's what I love about going for a walk.
See, I thought you were going to talk about, because you'll always send me the or for a while there, you were sending me tons of the Abraham Hicks things.
Well, and I listen to Abraham Hicks a lot in the shower.
Oh, really?
Like
It's
when
weird
I
to have
take,
my phone near the shower.
well, it's not in the shower, but it's near, I have a little shelf that's kind
Oh,
of near it where I can hear it.
that's
And
right.
then
You
when
have a
I get
step-in
out and I'm
shower.
drying off and getting, dressed and stuff, a lot of times I'll because they're 15 minutes long and it just hypes me up and helps me get good with
Okay, well, I use them for my walks because
okay.
they're usually 15-minute clips.
Yeah,
You said.
yeah,
And so you're walking for at least 15. So maybe go 15 minutes one direction and then 15 minutes back. Like it works for me.
yeah. Well, and sometimes I'll be making a reel about how my husband got on my nerves or whatever. So I did business while I'm walking sometimes.
In the privacy of your neighborhood, yes.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
okay, so everyone, we want to remind you that we have our KISS podcast group. Please go over there and join. If you haven't joined, it's women only. It's a safe space for us to talk about things that really have to do with our experience. So come on over, and then we also have our blog. Just
Yes,
sounded
our
weird.
blog. This is
So,
our podcast that you keep calling a vlog, but it's really whatever. Yes,
well,
this is the
so
blog. This is the written thing.
yes, so we have the website and with the blog, and the blog is like the more condensed version of what we just talked about. It's kind of, what did I say, the Reader's Digest. A lot of the newer generation isn't ever
They
going
don't
to know
even
what
know
Reader's
that. But
Digest is.
our people understand it's the short version.
The short version that will have anything that we've talked about, links, anything that pertains to any of this, it'll all be there within that blog. And like, subscribe, please comment if you enjoyed this. Encourage us. We'll do it more.
Well, and I'd love to hear what people think about what BeBe told us. Like we're probably gonna have to debrief about it all. But it would be interesting to see what other people have to say about it too.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone. This was a wonderful edition. We always say that. We always get off going, oh my God, that was so much fun.
Yes, we do. But we will see you next time.
For sure. Bye.
Bye.